Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another session for Learning from Leaders, an interview series where we learn from people who have been in the game for a while, people who have been serving others, looking to help you learn and grow in your development. And today, my guest is James Burgess. James has been an entrepreneur for a long time and has made it his mission to help serve entrepreneurs, to help grow their business the right way as the founder of Focus 31, I believe is the name of your business, James. Um, you've been in my circle of influence for well over a year, probably 2 years or more, and I've learned a lot about business and leadership through you. So I'm looking to share that today with the people out there. So, James, introduce yourself a little bit more. Who are you now that people should be learning from you and listening to you?
Great, thank you. Well, hello to everybody in your audience. My name is James Burgess. I am the founder of Focus 31, an international small business coaching practice dedicated to enabling small business owners to move from where they've been to where they are now to getting to where they truly want to be with radical focus on and accountability for the activities that will truly move their business to the levels of success they want. The legacy I want Focus 31 to leave behind is that we have overturned the global business planning industry, making it fast and easy and practical for business owners, effectively putting their business plan in their back pocket every single day so that every business decision is bounced off the business plan before the decision is made. And we're making strides every single day to the creation of that legacy. And we've got a lot of work to go still because, quite frankly, business planning by government agencies or banks across the globe are big, arduous, and just storytelling documents that don't operationalize a business in the least. And that's my goal, is to, as I say, make it entirely relevant for business owners to be successful.
And that aligns with what I do and who I'm looking to serve is I'm looking to help people like myself who have an idea, who have a dream, but they don't know what to do with that dream. They've, been tossed around for a lot of years, maybe working full time and can't see how to get into that dream. And so you make it possible by showing them, helping dig out that idea, nurture it through the business plan and focusing on that business plan so that that plan is really part of everything they do.
Exactly. Yep.
So I love quotes. I know everybody out there loves quotes. These are the things that guide us in who we are. Can you lead us off with a quote that kind of guides who you are as a business leader?
Oh, there I have so many right at hand. I'll go with the one I use the most often, and it's from Michelangelo. The greatest danger we all face is not that we aim too high and miss, but that we aim too low and achieve. And unfortunately, as brilliant as Michelangelo was, as creative as he actually got 50% of that quote wrong. Based on my experience with business owners today, what he really should have realized was that the greatest danger we all face is indeed not that we aim too high and miss, but that we aim too low and still miss. Uh,
Hmm.
that's that's my experience with having spoken to and worked with thousands and thousands of business owners, is that the fear of setting objectives, of setting goals because of the possibility of failure. My perspective is if you're aiming high, there is no failure. In aiming high, you'll always achieve more than you will when you aim low, and realize that when you aim low, you won't even get to that low threshold. So why don't we just aim high, recognize there is no failure, only success, and let's go for it.
Hmm. And I love another quote that goes along with that. It is exactly what you're talking about here is Les Brown, right? Shoot for the moon because even if you miss, you land among the stars, right? And look, in
Yep.
this entrepreneurial journey, we're not going to achieve what we want, what we see in our mind. Everything's going to change as we start moving towards it. So you're not going to hit the moon, no matter what you try. But imagine where you can go if you just reach out there and try to shoot for that.
Absolutely. And if to use your universal perspective, if all the stars align, yes, you can achieve the stars and shoot well past the moon. It's just the so many parts of the recipe, and it is literally a recipe. You don't create an incredible wedding cake from scratch without detailed measurement and a recipe that gets the cake made. Your business is just like that as well. And when you get the recipe and you live to the recipe and hold yourself accountable to the recipe, and you're passionate day in and day out, even when things don't go well, and you stay focused on your customers, the users of your product, whoever they may be, yes, you can achieve the dream. There is a recipe that can get you there.
Wonderful. I love that. Absolutely. And that's the whole point of what we're trying to do here is inspire people to take that step and step forward to whatever that dream may be. So have you always been a leader, or have you, always aspired to be a leader?
Interesting question. I will share that back in grade school, my school used to give out little, on an awards day at the end of the year, little badges, I guess. And I always seem to get the leadership one. I don't know why. And yes, the answer to your question is I have always been in a leadership role. There was always, I worked with a large Canadian bank for 22 years before I launched Focus 31. And while I was, had some early lower positions, the lowest position I had was a manager in training. That was my entry level, and so they saw the leadership capability. They put me into a management and training, and every role I had with the bank was in a leadership role. And now, as the leader of my own business, that's the hardest job to fulfill, because you don't have a boss to report to day in and day out. If you go to work, there's always, unless you're the CEO, then you've got stakeholders that you're responsible to. So there's always somebody in corporate that is telling you what to do and what the expectations are. Only in small business is there nobody holding you accountable to what you have to do.
Yes.
And oftentimes, as a result, we do what we want, when we want, how we want, measuring nothing to know if what we're doing is actually getting us to the outcome we want, if we've even defined an outcome. In society, like if you're raising a family, there are societal expectations, accountability. You feed your children, you put them to sleep properly. The schools check in on you, CAS checks in on you, the police check in on us on every respect. There's accountability everywhere in society, except when running a small business. There's only us holding ourselves accountable, and that's an incredibly challenging thing, because a bad day can become a bad week, becomes a bad month, and the year ends up gone.
Especially if you're that solopreneur, right? If you have a business like where you take on employees and you're running a larger organization that's more than just yourself, you do have a sense of accountability there, and then the fact that you have to pay salaries, right? You have to
I
sell
hope
these
so.
products in order to bring in the income.
Yep.
If you don't, you're not going to be successful. But when you're that solopreneur, that coach, that author, that speaker, if you're not doing the little things and maybe doing them the right way, you're not going to have success. In other words, you're the captain of the ship and you're steering the rudder, right? And you're
Exactly.
choosing where you're gonna
Absolutely.
go.
Yep. Precisely.
So there's a question I like to ask, and you've told me you have two sets of experience here, in that you were already in the bank, or in an employee role, so to speak.
Yep.
You're also part of business ownership. So how have you had any setbacks in your employee leadership roles, and what were they like?
In my employees role,
Yes.
uh, no, actually, I was a multiple Chairman's Award winning candidate with the bank. They, I was, I led the leaders in many respects. I never had a bad year or a bad review, which interestingly enough really set me up for failure when I launched Focus 31 in 2005, because I hadn't experienced failure. And they say that all learning comes from failure.
You're right.
And so, I came out of the bank. I've been dedicated to small business for 12 years of my career. I had a regional small business community of over $750 million funds under management, 35 direct reports, and about 15,000 small business clients that we were responsible to. And so I was convinced that I could leave the bank and step out and launch an incredible consulting practice. And I fell flat on my face. absolutely flat on my face. So one thing I didn't know that I never learned through the bank was marketing. And
Right.
while in 2005 there wasn't a heck of a lot of internet, it was just kind of getting going. You still had to create the path to your door so people could find you, and I had no idea how to do that. And it was a disaster. I starved for the first number of years. Then I began, and interestingly enough, full circle, about 10 years later, and 10 years ago, I opened up our own marketing division in the Philippines, where now we're designing websites and we're publishing books and creating all forms of marketing collateral and doing our clients' social media offload. So having learned nothing about marketing whatsoever at the bank, and now being in the business of marketing as a secondary uh, opportunity for engagement with our clients, I've come full circle. And it was because I watched other leaders. I accepted my gap in marketing and said, I got to go find out how the heck to do this. And so I watched some of Canada and North America's leading marketing people through the second half of the 2000s and into the 2010s, and I just watched and copied, watched and copied, watched and copied. It copied in the sense of took their ideas and applied it to my business, and that resulted in me writing a book, Chaos: How Business Leaders Can Master the Power of Focus. That gave me a leadership position in a very broad coaching industry. It's not easy to be a leader, but with our specialty, again, we're building our legacy to completely overhaul the business planning industry globally. Nobody else is doing that.
Mhm.
We're doing it on our own. And I thank all of my leaders, all of the people I've followed, to understand how to get our message out there more effectively. And I accept that. I got a long way to go still. There's still a lot more for me to learn.
Yeah, listen, I'm just trying to get all my ducks in a row as a business owner, right? Look, I'm working with you now kind of on how to put that business plan into action, right? So, and I love that you have the experience of coming from the corporate world and getting into business, and that, like you say, you fell flat on your face. So, look, what
Thanks
was
for appreciating that a lot. I
Oh,
really appreciate
absolutely.
it.
Listen, and amazing that you didn't have any failures or significant failures, anyways, in the corporate world, because there are people who just, they look, we learn from experience, right? And it's great if we can learn from the experiences of others, which it sounds like you did with your marketing journey. So
Yep.
those people who are trying to look, I want out of my job, I think I can do X. How do I get from here to there? But I know I'm going to fail. What do we do?
Go ahead and start and fail and start and fail again and start and fail.
Should
And
they
then you'll
plan for
start.
that, or should they just jump in head first?
Well, I mean, you need to map out your intentions. I'll liken this to, since we're both in the Greater Toronto area, if I want to get to Montreal as a destination, I have to have some idea of what Montreal looks like, where it is, and I've got to build my travel plan to get me there. I may also decide there's going to be some interesting places like Gananoque or Kingston or Port Hope that I may want to get off and have a secondary look at, right? I still want to be able to come back to my journey, pardon me, and get to Montreal. As a new business owner, and this is what we do with our business planning, is we ensure that the client is very, very connected, emotionally connected to the destination they want to create in a fairly short time frame, 3 years, not 5 years, not 10 years. That's ridiculous. The world is moving too quickly to connect to anything that is that far out. 3 years from now, what do you want to be doing? Who do you want to be? What do you want to be creating? What do you want to be generating? What experience do you want to create for others? And that's what's really, really important in today's marketing. You're no longer, you can't make your mission about making money. Doesn't work. And your mission can't be about your product. Your mission has to be somewhere around the idea of an experience you want to create for your participants. And so find that 3-year destination, your Montreal, and then reverse engineer how you're going to get there. You know, if I never get into the car, I never get to Montreal. That's a given.
Mhm.
If I get into the car, it may not start. Okay, there's my first issue. I'll now know the car isn't going to start. I can go and get work done on my car, so now I can move forward. There may be along the trip barriers, detours that I have to take. But if I keep moving and moving forward towards my destination and learning along the way, I will get there. I'll get there successfully. I can celebrate the outcome and recognize there will be experiences that won't go the way I want, and accept those as simply learning opportunities, not an evaluation of you as a business owner, not calling you a bad owner or a good owner, or in the wrong business or the right business. It's simply learning. All experiences are learning, and you need failures to get the greatest learning. Tom Peters on stage used to say that his mandate for himself was fast mistakes make fast learning, big mistakes make big learning. Well, then fast big mistakes make fast big learning. So what the heck? Take a shot, go for it, but go for it in a manner that says, I know where I want to get to. I'm going to reverse engineer it, and I'm going to start from this point, because in starting with that point, the next point will reveal itself in terms of what you need to do next.
Mhm. And you listen, these conversations are as much for me as this sharing with everybody out there, because I'm taking every bit of advice you got here. Because look, I know where I want to go. I've got my business planned out, but I'm not at that action taking, like 100% action taking phase. So there's things that prevent me. Maybe it's because I don't know the journey along the way. But I love some of the things that you put together here. Is look, you got to have an idea, you got to have a concept of what you want, where you want to go. You got to plan for it. You got to know what is going to get you there in the long run, knowing to take the car as it is, or am I going to
Yep.
fly, or am I going to take the train? Then doing some research on what is it going to like, what's the journey going to be like along the way, and then educating yourself on the process, right? Learning what do I need in order to make this happen. So you brought a lot of those things out there for people, and I want people to take a notice of that.
Are you ready to step into your full leadership potential? To grow as a leader who inspires, empowers, and makes an impact? Welcome to the Beacon Fellows School of Leadership, a place where emerging leaders, coaches, and changemakers come together to master the skills, mindset, and strategies to lead with purpose. Through our immersive programs, you'll gain proven frameworks for building influence and authority, hands-on leadership development tools and workbooks, personalized guidance from experienced facilitators, a community of like-minded leaders committed to growth. Whether you're looking to lead a team, launch a movement, or simply grow in confidence and clarity, the Beacon Fellows School equips you with the skills, strategies, and support to shine as a leader in any arena. Join us today and start your journey to becoming a leader who leaves a lasting impact. Visit www.beaconfellows.com to learn more and secure your place at the Beacon Fellows School of Leadership. Your next step as a leader starts now.
And one of the things I just want to add to that is it's not just about taking action. You have to take action, one step at a time, so to speak. And if that action is interrupted for extended periods of time, for whatever reason, a family matter, deaths in the family are horrible to small business owners, because we're split between our responsibility to growing our business and our clients, and in that moment in time, the need for our family to be present. When that happens, you lose your forward momentum. And so it takes, just don't be surprised when it takes a little longer and it's a little harder to get the next step. The key to success in small businesses, in my perspective, is continuous momentum. Do what you can do. I learned this at my fitness studio. You have to establish your base pace on the treadmill. A base pace is the pace you can run for 20 to 30 minutes uninterrupted, no resting. Just that, because when it comes to running your business and getting into action, establish your base pace. That pace you can consistently put energy towards your business without interruption, and that will enable you to make progress and allow yourself to get to the push pace and periodically the all-out pace when opportunity permits yourself to do that. but you got to hit that base pace. So you're always putting an amount of energy towards your business, at least weekly. For those, I'm talking a lot to people who are working part-time, working full-time and starting a business part-time. It's very doable when you hit that base pace and you can sustain that base pace. But if you go for a week and you get a few hours in, and it's 3 more weeks before you can go back to it, you've lost the momentum. You got to recapture it and get that base pace. Even if it's just 2 hours a week, just keep hitting that 2 hours a week, you can do it. And for those that have larger businesses or have more time, a full-time business, make sure that is a very focused and amount of time on the intention you truly want to create, not the the overpowering busy work. Like, get the top 3 things you need to get done to move your business to success before 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Leave the firefighting and the project work until the afternoon. Your greatest energy is in the morning. That's when you should be in front of your people, getting them to engage with you.
I love that. That's awesome. And I like let's put it to the analogy we've talked about travel, right? Getting to your destination. And, let's say I work for Go Transit, which is a train company. The train doesn't start off at 100 kilometers an hour, right? When it starts out, it's, you know what I mean? And starts to build that momentum. It gets a little faster until we're up at that peak speed where we're going to perform.
And then it's really, really hard to stop it.
I love that. I love that. So your business is built around helping people build the business plan and get their business focused from the beginning. But there's misnomers out there that say, well, you don't need a business plan. Just go out there. Here's the product. Here's the idea you want to create. What do you have to do to create it? But and this is why I've fallen in touch with you so much, is that I think if we don't get that business plan right, the business plan is not for everybody else out there. It's for you, the business owner, right?
Yes. Yeah. And on the basis of get it down, then get it right. Get it down, then get it right. Don't spend months creating a business plan that'll be obsolete by the time you start to act against it, because you're also running your business while you're creating the business plan, and it'll all be already taken a right-hand turn that you hadn't expected, and your business plan that you spent 5 months on will already be obsolete. So do it fast, do it easily. Our format provides for that. And then just get it down, because today you know something. You have a bucket of knowledge that will support your business to grow. Tomorrow, you'll know more. And the day after that, you'll know more. And the day after that, and the day after that, such that 6 months from now, when you look back at yourself and recall who you were 6 months prior, you'll go, wow, what was I so wound up about? I've grown so far, right? But if you stay stuck in getting it all right, you'll never move forward and you'll never advance as that individual. It's just get it down, then get going. But along the way, recognize that every experience you have is data, just data, no emotions connected to it. There's no emotions of business, not wrong, nothing to cry over, not necessarily huge and amazing. It's just data. Take that data, evaluate the data, ask yourself, why is it happening and what do I do about it? And move forward into your next step. And just keep doing that, and you'll grow a business. And you'll be amazed 6 months, year, 18 months from now at what you've accomplished when you take that approach.
Mm-hmm. And then so as the CEO, we kind of discussed around this, as the CEO or business owner, you have to wear all hats, as they say, right? You're the marketer, you're the business development, you're the sales team, you're the financial team. How can we manage all that? Does the business plan tie into that?
Yeah. So speaking to those of you that are a solopreneur out there in the audience right now, here's the reality. As a solopreneur, you cannot grow your business past $125,000 to $150,000 in revenue as a solopreneur, as I said, because you'll hit this point of overwhelm, and you'll unintentionally or expectedly need to pull back because you will be exhausted, wiped out, not serving clients, missing dates, whatever the case may be. And the universe plays a really unkind game for those of us who don't prepare for the future properly. When we, as a solopreneur, we hit that wall at $125,000 to $150,000 in revenue, and we hit that overwhelm, we'll fall back probably to around 50 or 60. You're not out of business, but your revenues will collapse to about a third or so. Here's the thing. The universe will make it 2 times to 3 times harder for you to get back up to that 150 mark again, because you're going to start searching and searching and searching and assessing what did you do wrong and looking for the answers rather than just getting going again and pre-planning for that 6-figure revenue. In order to avoid that overwhelm, the first thing you have to be prepared for as you approach the $100,000 mark in revenue is, who are the virtual assistants I need to continue my growth so I'm not doing it all? That's the first place every business owner needs to be looking. At the very outset, you have to be in front of your clients. I want you in front of more clients than less. So I don't want you doing your marketing. I want you to bring people in to do the marketing. So you are having prospect calls. You're brilliantly closing new clients into an engagement or a product sale. And you're able to keep doing that role because you're still being fed leads through virtual assistants that are doing your marketing, booking your calendar, setting up meetings for you, whatever the case may be. As you get the 250, that's a whole new business model, $250,000 in revenue. That's the next tier of success. There may actually be a full-time employee or a part-time employee in your business doing some element. Maybe it's a junior you that's going to meet with the lower end clients or lower end purchasers of your services rather than yourself. And then at 500, there's a whole new platform. At $1 million, there's another platform. And then from there on up, there's just staged in more human resources being brought in. You're still going to wear all the hats, but you need to be putting yourself in the position of doing less of the work and more checking on the work, where virtual assistants at the very outset are doing the to-do stuff to get your messaging out to support the lead generation for you to then be in front of prospects and closing them into engagements.
So I love that. And I want to just kind of reiterate, so I make sure I'm understanding it well and maybe share it with people out there, is, look, the business plan is going to be the long-term vision that we have in mind for our business. It's up to us as the solopreneur to get it going. So we're going to wear all those hats right from the start. We're going to have to do it all. But to get going, get that momentum going, get the action, get the sales, get the clients. As we're doing that, we need to start thinking about the longer vision and how are we going to get to that next level, which is we need human resources. We need people to work with. All people need people if we want. Look, there's no I in team, as we've heard, right?
Yep.
So putting in maybe systems in place that are going to allow us to duplicate ourselves or spread ourselves out further in order to take this or elevate this business to the next level.
Absolutely. And some of your listeners may be people that have come out of a corporate world like I did, and they've got a $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 buyout in order to leave the organization. And they're going, well, I'll just bring all the people in myself. No, don't, because you don't have a business yet. But here's the other thing. It's very easy to take that money and start dumping it into your business without any forethought about what it is you're really doing with your business. Some wise people I worked with in my very early years said, James, if you got a buyout, take that money and lock it into a guaranteed investment certificate, all of it, such that tomorrow's mortgage payment needs to come from your business, and get out and get in front of the people that will make a decision to buy from you. That's putting the cart where it belongs after the horse. I'm trying to think of an analogy there for you, but if you got if you have a big buyout, there's not enough urgency to doing what you have to do to get out in front of people. You'll build systems, you'll build websites, you'll build programs, you'll build a CRM, you'll build, and what you suddenly realize is you're hiding from your audience. You haven't met a single new person. You haven't talked about your program to anybody, and you've just blown through $50,000 of your buyout. Put it away, lock it up, put a key, put it behind a key, and your mortgage payment needs to come from the people you meet right now. Business was done in the 1970s, 80s, and 90s on a handshake over napkins, and the opportunity to do that kind of business is still there, but we're so focused on social media and AI and all of the shortcuts that all provides. The reality is people will buy from you because they know, like, and trust you. And they can't get to know, like, and trust you if you're hiding behind a project, creating an AI bot to sell your service. Forget it. It's got to be you. Depending, of course, if you're selling 15-cent sheet music, yeah, your website can sell that. You're selling a $5,000 consulting gig, coaching program, leadership program. Your website can't sell it. You are the one they're buying, not your website, not your name, not your program name, not your LinkedIn profile. They're buying you, and you have to be out in front of them one-on-one.
I love that. And look, that's where I'm at now. Look, I've got all the planning and all the, the idea, the concept. It's all here in the background. The work is done, but I'm not getting out in front of the client enough. You know what I mean? I'm not showing up. I'm not serving in the way I should. So yeah, there's no like and trust involved at this stage. So I love here, and I've took that in. I know where I need to go next with my business. So thank you very much for that.
Your message matters. Your expertise has value. Learn how to share it with the world and become the authority people are looking for. Don't miss this special live training with best-selling author Raymond Aaron, who has authored or co-authored 147 books. And he's discovered one powerful strategy that has opened more doors, created more opportunities, and generated tremendous wealth for his clients. In this free webinar, you'll learn how to build your brand, position yourself as the go-to authority in your market, attract more clients, and dramatically increase your income through the power of authorship. Don't wait. Visit www.beaconfellows.com/101010 or click the link in the show notes.
But look, for the people who are, the introvert out there, who you've just told them they need to get out in front of the client, but I'm an introvert. I don't like getting in front of people. I don't want to be seen. What do I do?
So am I.
Mm-hmm.
So am I. You put me in a party room prior to, I don't know, somewhere through the course of my career in launching Focus 31, if you put me in a party room or a conference room, I'm the guy at the back of the wall, back at the back door, against the wall, waiting to see how I can exit so I don't have to get engaged with people. It was terrible. Not to the point of anxiety, certainly. It just, people weren't that important to me. Which is a terrible approach to have if you want to run a small business that involves people. And so, again, what I did was I looked at the people. I enjoyed being on stage in front of groups of people, but I was there for the wrong reason. I was there because I enjoyed being seen for the wrong reason. I thought I was smart. I thought I was entertaining. I wasn't making it about my audience. I was making it about me in front of that audience. And it never, like, I started doing workshops in hotels pre-COVID, and people would come, but nobody was ever buying. It was because I was making it about me, not about them. And I had a major shift. Again, watching the people that were successful selling large price programs, I learned that I can't make this about me. I have to truly care about the people I'm talking about. And I think you've experienced, I truly care about RJ's success. Every client, I make it an absolute passion of mine to under-promise and over-deliver, and then over-deliver even again, because I just want all of my clients to be so incredibly successful. And that has been a major shift for me. And just recognizing I had to be extroverted, to put a label on it. I had to be out in front of my clients, prospects. I just had to do it. I had to accept it as a challenge, as an opportunity to grow. That's what I've said earlier. That's what every challenge is. It's not something you can't do or shouldn't do or won't do. It's just an awareness. I need to grow through this and become a stronger person for it. And I look back, my very first, when I was working LinkedIn, I got up to 5,000 connections really, really quickly because I was just a numbers game, adding people to my portfolio of connections. Until one day, somebody wrote back and said, "Hey, I'd really like to chat with you." And I froze. I didn't know how to reply to him. I was terrified at the prospects of getting onto a one-on-one call with, back in those days on Skype, with somebody I knew nothing about.
Right.
And I wish I remembered who that person was, because I should reach out to them and thank them, because that person broke the ice for me. Because we had a great conversation. We weren't selling to each other. We were just literally, as I think of LinkedIn as my virtual chamber of commerce ever since that day, I hold true to that. LinkedIn is my virtual chamber of commerce. I don't sell when I'm having a cocktail at a black tie event. I don't sell in LinkedIn. I get to know the people. I get to care about the people, find out what's going on in their life, in their business, and make inquiries that show interest. And they share a lot, and they end up remembering the conversation so that we can circle back and have a more involved or engaged conversation afterwards. I just learned to do it because I accepted it as a challenge I had to go through. And I thank the first person from LinkedIn that said, "Let's have a chat," because it changed my experience on LinkedIn and my selling experience.
Yeah, and look, I love LinkedIn for everything that it provides. It provides everybody who's working in the business environment, anybody who wants to show success as a leader, or be known for that area of expertise. It gives them that platform to connect, and I really believe that's all it's for. I can see how many times you have looked at my profile to learn a bit more about me, right? So not only do we get connected with people, we learn about people, but we see who's watching us. And then the thing I also like that you pointed out is it's all about the conversations, right? Regardless of the fact that you're trying to make a sale and you need to get in front of people, once you have that intimate conversation with people, you get to know them. What are their needs? What is it they're looking for? Maybe I can fill that gap. And if I can't, I can still be of service by connecting them to James, who can help them with their business model, right? So that's what I love about that online space.
Yeah, it's in LinkedIn, it works when you are entirely, I like the word you said, entirely about service.
Mhm.
My perspective is, when I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on one side of my property fence with my favorite cocktail in my hand, and I'm talking to my neighbor on the other side of the fence with their favorite cocktail in hand. I have no idea what we're going to talk about. It could be the weather, it could be, what's going on in their life, what's going on in my life. It's just a conversation. And my responsibility in leading that conversation is to do my very best to make it about them. And that always just, it works. It just plain and simply works. There's no selling when you're asking questions.
I love that. And then, like you said, for the introvert out there, I like the way, and the whole time you were saying it, I was picturing, us as beings. We all have to come out of our shell, right? Whether you come out of an egg when you're born, or we come out of the stomach, we have to break out of there. And imagine if we didn't, we'd still be stuck in that bubble or that egg, or, but we have to, in order to get to the next stage of our life. And if, that's what that conversation is, right? It's that breaking of the egg so that we can now go, hey, I'm out here. Look at this place. It's not so scary. Now, what if I venture over here? What if I try this? What if I do that? That's what business and life is all about itself.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of labels like extrovert or introvert. I don't even like labels like small business, because it limits. It says, you're a small business now, but doesn't mean you're going to stay a small business. So, I market to small businesses because we're all labeled as that, or even micro businesses. And when I talk to my business owners, clients, I'm talking about them as a business, because we're reaching for the 3.5 million, the 6 million, the 10 million. And I don't want to label them with something that holds them, grounds them in something less than what they can become.
Oh, I love that. That's amazing. So we're going to start to wrap it up a little bit here. So I want to just kind of learn, like they've learned so much from you in our last half hour or so, about what it is to start a business. How do I get going? What do I do if this happens? Right. So we've got a lot of lessons learned here. I want to learn more about you as a leader. So how would you like to be remembered? What is your legacy as a leader?
Well, as I said, I'm dead serious. I want to completely overhaul the global business planning industry. We are now positioned to license our business planning system to other business coaches or people who are leaving corporate and like the idea of moving into business coaching. We have an offer that is ready to provide immediate revenues, effectively a business coaching practice in a box without it being a franchise. You can, with a franchise, you're put in a square box and you've got to operate within the franchisor's parameters. With our licensing program, you can do what you want with our system and go get clients any way you want it, call it anything you want it, what you want to. We're just giving you the crucible, if you will, to go out and immediately start earning revenues with your clients, without having to create your own program. Just don't reinvent the wheel. If it makes sense, come and talk to us and we'll help you start your business right away. And it's this licensing opportunity that we can really push the envelope on getting our legacy well positioned around the globe.
I love that. And look, there are plenty of people out there looking for the work from home option, or, how do I bring in income, but, I don't have a business idea. So there's a good way for people to start getting into business, start learning how the business world functions, and then earn the income on their own opportunities.
Yep.
I love that.
And I've even partnered with our licensing program. It's called the Alliance Experience. I've partnered with one of our clients who is one of Canada's master trainers in NLP, and our program brings the high performing coaching capability training into our business planning licensing program to create just an incredible opportunity for people leaving corporate and being put into the self-employment environment and giving them a real push to success, because they'll be able to coach brilliantly and have a system to coach too.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon me.
I'm pretty sure I know who you're talking about, because I'm in the same circles you are. I've taken some of the same training you have, so
Yep.
I'm sure I know who you're talking about. But we won't mention names. They're going to have to get to know you a little more in order to get involved in that area of expertise. So what I want to know now is, what would you give as far as advice for those people who want to walk away from the corporate world, just don't have that, they're not motivated enough, perhaps?
Well, I started on a quote. I'll close on a quote. Benjamin Franklin was reported to have said, "The world is made up of three kinds of people: those that are immovable, those that are movable, and those that move." Successful people, always moving. Make a choice, make a decision. Make the decision to stay where you are. That's fine. It's a decision. Even Tony Robbins says the decision not to do something is not necessarily a bad decision. It's simply a decision. If staying where you are makes sense, stay where you are. Make that decision. Negate this back and forth ping pong game you're playing with yourself. My goodness. Oh boy, nothing like a head cold, eh? Okay.
So yeah, and look, I love that. Look, I'm a Rush fan, and to me, exactly what came to mind is that Rush lyric: "If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice." Right?
You've made a decision. Yep, exactly.
Look, I like your thought that, look, we need to make that choice to get going, and usually having that direction, having that business plan prepared, is going to give us a lot more motivation to take that step.
And the one thing I haven't referenced yet today, on top of the business plan, is our secret sauce. So let me close on the secret sauce. We hold our clients accountable week over week over week to do the work that the business plan calls for. Because if a business plan is long and arduous, or it's easy and fast, and neither of them get implemented, they're equally bad plans. It's easier to implement a business plan that's been done easily and quick and fast, and still the accountability to actually do the work, to step through the challenges, to have your feet held to the fire, so to speak, is where the value in our program really is. And that's why I've had clients engage with us for over 15 years, doing nothing more than being involved in our business planning and coaching accountability system. 15 years he stayed with us. Now we're working on his exit strategy from his business, and we've increased his revenues consistently, even through bad cycles for his particular industry. It's been amazing. Our average lifetime of a client staying with us is over 4 years.
Oh, wow. Well, I've just kind of stepped through the door into your world, and I recommend that people do the same, right? So I want to know, how can people connect back with you? What can they do to, whether it be the I want the licensing, or I want to get the coaching, or I just want to get started and I don't know where. What do you have for them?
So you can find me on LinkedIn, James Burgess, Burgess. I'm the #1 James Burgess on LinkedIn, so I'll be the first name that pops up when you search it. You can email me, james@focus31.com. That's the word focus and the number 31.com. 31 for 31 days of the month that you need to be focused on your business. Those are the two easiest ways to get hold of me. I offer a up to 90-minute legacy planning call to do a deep dive on your business or your business intentions. Where have you been? Where are you at now? And where's the dream? And let's start talking about how we make that fulfilled. No obligation, no cost for the call. It's my passion to give back into my community, to just give as many ideas as I can to business owners who are out there and want to get more from what they're doing. If we find a balance of value and opportunity to work together, fantastic. You'll get an incredible experience. And take the 90 minutes. I'm here. I've got a lot of ideas. They'll be valuable to you. James@focus31.com or LinkedIn, James Burgess.
James, thank you for everything you provided for people today. Thanks for taking the time with us. And I hope people are looking for more amazing conversations to come in leadership, business, or passionate pursuits. Don't forget to ring that bell for more interviews to come from Ink Talks with RJ.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. If it inspired you, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who needs to hear it. We invite you to join Beacon Fellowship School of Leadership, a community of your peers learning and growing together. Visit www.beaconfellows.com. Keep growing, keep serving, and keep your light shining bright. Most of all, never stop learning from leaders.